Joining us now to discuss is Republican Congressman from Georgia, Jody Hice. Congressman Hice, thank you very much for joining us. Just your overall thoughts on what we have heard so far today and the questions that have been asked.
Yeah, I think the highlight is what you've just been talking about. There's a major contradiction between what the president is saying and what his top-level generals are saying. They are making it very clear that they advise the president not to withdraw the 2,500 American troops, and the president on the other end saying he never heard that kind of information, he doesn't recall it. So look, one of only two options are here. Either the president's mental capacity has gotten to such a point that indeed he is not able of recalling the information given him, the advice given him from his military generals, or he's lying. Either way, it's bad news for America, and I believe it ultimately points to the need for this president to step down and resign. He is not capable to be the commander-in-chief.
So you're saying if he lied, he should step down, or are you saying because of his bad decision-making as a commander-in-chief? I mean, on what grounds? I mean, a lot of people might oppose him, think he's doing a horrible job, but as far as stepping down, most might think that's a high bar.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got a problem. I think the question you bring up drives home the point that at very minimum, we need a thorough, deep investigation of all of this. But yes, if the president is lying to the American people, or if he is incapable of making the type of decisions in the best interest of the United States, either way, we've got a serious problem here. We have the most disastrous decision a foreign policy decision perhaps in our nation's history. And yet the Democrats impeached President Trump twice for a 5-minute conversation. Now we have had 6 weeks of absolute disaster on this situation of the Afghan withdrawal that has massively hindered our credibility around the world, which all points to me that this president needs to go. He's not fit to be the commander-in-chief, and at very minimum at this point, we need an investigation to get to the heart of what really took place here.
Yeah, Congressman Hice, one of those people who's repeatedly called for impeachment of former President Trump was House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. So I wanted your comments on something that was mentioned in General Milley's opening statement, where he said that Speaker Pelosi was also involved in conversations related to his counterpart in China and the mental capacity specifically of former President Trump. Listen.
Speaker of the House Pelosi called me to inquire about the president's ability to launch nuclear weapons. I sought to assure her that nuclear launch is governed by a very specific and deliberate process. She was concerned and made various personal references characterizing the president. I explained to her that the president is the sole nuclear launch authority and he doesn't launch them alone, and that I am not qualified to determine the mental health of the President of the United States.
So it certainly seemed to me that General Milley went out of his way to actually bring that up and distance himself and point out what Speaker Pelosi did and said in that conversation.
Yeah, of course he's trying to distance himself, and he's living in an environment right now where there are a lot of allegations against him that potentially would point otherwise. I want to know, did he perjure himself today, or is he going to perjure himself as the day goes on? Again, another reason why we need further investigation, not just a hearing on this. But to the greater point, what role did Nancy Pelosi have in this? What business does she have trying to sway public opinion and to interject her feelings towards President Trump to the extent of trying to have military leaders go against the commander-in-chief? That is a major problem in itself. Again, something that we need answers to. We don't just need these hearings that come and go. We need investigations where we get solid answers, we get to the bottom of this, we get truth, we get accountability, and we will go from there. But I think all of what's happening today demands the fact that we get further answers.
Okay. And then finally, I wanted to mention get your thoughts on the fact that really the only person punished, at least so far, about this botched withdrawal was that Marine who actually criticized him, Lieutenant Colonel Scheller, who spoke out against U.S. generals for surrendering Afghanistan, stranding Americans, and arming Taliban terrorists. He's now incarcerated, has been sent to the brig. Now, does anything today change, anything you've heard today change your feeling toward that being the fact at the moment?
Well, I mean, it appears to me that they've got the wrong person in the brig. I mean, there are other persons potentially who, to exaggerate it, there perhaps are other people who need to be in jail.
Such as?
I don't know if that's an exaggeration or not, but my point that I'm trying to make is there are other decision makers involved here that we need to get truthful answers, and there needs to be authentic accountability. Why this individual is in the brig right now for asking the same type of questions that the rest of the country are asking right now, I don't fully understand. I do know there's chain of command in the military.
Sure.
I get that.
Right.
But here's a military individual asking honest questions that today America is still asking, and potentially there's other people who need to be suffering consequences, not this one.
All right, Congressman Jody Hice, thank you for joining us, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.